like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Woo. Walk it like I talk it.
So something that I think I'm gonna try to do as like a steady thing through the channel is to do like Friday walk-in talks, right, mama? So I want to do where like we take a walk in the park and then I'll just come and sit and talk about a topic that people are interested in. And today I feel like, I don't know, I'm just interested in talking about going through depression and anxiety and postpartum depression, because I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't really talk about much. So I'll talk about my little experience with postpartum. Right, mama? So I actually started getting postpartum in my 3rd trimester. I would say right around New Year's. You are just so smiley right now, huh? You're so smiley right now. So I started getting really just blue around, I want to say like the end of December, beginning of January. And it was really hard because those were like the holiday times when everybody's really enjoying, and I just felt off. I remember it kicked in when I was still pregnant, and I just started feeling really anxious about everything. I was feeling so nervous just about being a mom. I don't want to call it regret, but I really was kind of feeling like, oh my God, like what am I doing? like what am I doing? And I remember just always being freaked out, always being upset, always just feeling so down. And I didn't really talk about it with anybody because I felt guilty, like I had the ability to be pregnant and have a baby and just have this whole gift that a lot of people can't have. So I just felt really guilty about being upset over that. So I didn't really talk to anybody about it. But as the months went on, it just got really, really intense. The month before I gave birth, that whole month leading up to my due date was just really, really difficult. I struggled a lot, and at that point I was on maternity leave, so I didn't have anything to do. I literally would just sit at home all day, and I was exhausted just from being so pregnant and going to the doctor all the time. And I just remember being so sad, and it would get so bad at night. Like at night is when my depression would just get so intense, and that coupled with the anxiety, if you've never had anxiety, I'll explain kind of like what I experienced, which is pretty much just like this overwhelming feeling that nothing is going to be okay ever. And it literally hits you like a truck out of nowhere. I feel super nervous, super on edge. Obviously I feel anxious, but I'm trying to describe it without using those general terms. But yeah, I would just really always feel super paranoid and super nervous about everything. Like literally like a cloud was over me. I would feel suffocated, like I can't breathe. I can't think, like whatever was making me anxious, whatever would trigger me at that time, like that is the only thing that I could think about. I could not take my mind off of it. I tried breathing exercises, I tried going for walks, but it would just be so intense that I just I couldn't think about anything else. I couldn't get my mind off of it. And then for me, I'm an overthinker, so then I would be thinking about how anxious I was and how upset I was, and I would just keep thinking and thinking myself into a bad mood, and it would just be so horrible. It was so rough, and literally nothing anybody could do or say would make me feel any better. I would just have to write it out. And I went to a therapist for a while, She was awesome. I recommend therapy to anybody who feels like they just need to talk to someone who's unbiased. Like, you don't have to feel like you want to kill yourself or like your life is a mess or anything like that. It's just a really awesome way to talk to someone who is unbiased about all the situations that you're going through and doesn't know anybody who you're talking about, and they're not going to tell anybody. Like, it's for me, writing in a diary always helped, so that was kind of like writing in a diary, except I could just talk it out. So I really love going to therapy. Thing is, I always try to be very mindful of the terms that I use when I'm feeling a certain way, because I know that it can be really disrespectful to people who actually suffer from mental illnesses or from any kind of condition when you sit here and say like, oh my God, I'm so depressed, or oh my God, I'm so anxious, and like you're really just feeling like sad or normal feelings that you should be feeling, not like actual depressed emotions. So yeah, I digress, but I would just feel so anxious all the time for no reason. And this got really, really bad when I gave birth. When I was going into labor, I had the worst anxiety attacks, and I really went through it by myself. So I was just kind of there alone with my thoughts in this unknown situation. It was super, super scary for me. So not only was I nervous in the first part, but that just heightened my anxiety to another level. I didn't sleep pretty much most of the time that I was in the hospital. The whole night before I gave birth, I know, Grumpy Pants, what's wrong, huh? What's wrong, Nanny? What's wrong, my baby? Okay, Mama. So the whole time that I was in the hospital, I didn't sleep much. The whole night when I was, what is that called? When I was admitted to the hospital, I didn't sleep that entire night. I stayed up that whole night because the contractions were just uncomfortable at that point. They weren't painful yet, but they were uncomfortable. And yeah, it was just a really uncomfortable all around. I could not sleep, and then my anxiety was just at an all-time high for justified reasons. So maybe I was feeling more nervous than anxious, but I just remember feeling really depressed and really alone, even though I was surrounded by a bunch of doctors and nurses at all times. I just felt really alone. I was going through a lot of personal things at this time too, and even though I had a lot of friends and family who offered to be there for me, it just wasn't what I needed. At that point, I just needed people who couldn't be there for me, and that was really difficult, battling that. And then also literally going into labor and being induced, which was traumatizing for me, but I'll go into that in another video. So yeah, the whole hospital experience was just really, really traumatizing for me. It was really hard. I felt really alone through my whole birth experience, and that was not something that I envisioned or something that I wanted out of that experience. I really wanted it to be a joyful time, you know, a seamless process, and it really wasn't. So that was like disappointing for me, really disappointing. And then they woke me up and Naya was here, and they let me meet her, and I remember they showed her to me, and I thought that I was supposed to feel like just this overwhelming sense of love as soon as I saw her, and I didn't. And I remember just being really upset. Like, I didn't feel connected to her. I didn't even feel happy. I was just completely numb. And this lasted through most of my hospital stay, where I just would look at her and I told myself that I felt happy, but it just really didn't register in my head that I was happy. So it was really disappointing for me. It was overwhelming. I felt like I was a bad mom, that I wasn't, I didn't love my baby. Like, is something wrong with me? Because you always hear people talking about how the moment they see their child, like, they instantly know and they instantly feel connected. And I did not feel that at all. So I just kind of felt like, what's going on? And that really scared me, like, deep to my core. That scared me. So I just kind of kept quiet about it. I didn't tell anybody. And this is the first time that I am speaking about this at all. I've never told anybody this before. So this is definitely very personal. But I feel like it's important for me to talk about. We came home from the hospital, and those first few days, I was just so dead, like literally dead. I was exhausted from the surgery. I was exhausted from not sleeping at all. I was literally around the clock staying up with her because I didn't want to put her down. I didn't want her to cry. I wanted to get that attachment. And I felt that by holding her as much as possible and just doing skin to skin all the time, and by breastfeeding her and all of this stuff, that it would make me, just feel that attachment. And I guess in a way that did work. But that whole first month really is a blur for me. A complete blur. I was so exhausted. I was staying up all day long and all night with her to feed her, change her, cuddle her, make sure she was taking naps throughout the day. It was really difficult that first month. Right? That was hard, right? Hard work. I know. It was really, really hard. Really hard. And I just remember my depression really, really kicked in really bad when I got home. I did not leave the house for, I think, maybe 2 or 3 weeks straight. I did not leave my room. I did not leave the bed for 2 or 3 weeks straight after I came home from the hospital. Because I was just so overwhelmed, and I didn't know how to ask for help or who to talk to. And I was still in so much pain from the surgery. I was so sore. I couldn't sleep comfortably. And it was just a really difficult transition. I just remember at night, I would get so upset to the point where, like, I would be losing my mind. Like, I would get so scared for nighttime to come because I knew that my depression would be just be so intense. When I say intense, I mean like literally intense. I couldn't watch TV because it would trigger my anxiety. I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go anywhere because of the baby. Like, she was just too small and I was breastfeeding. I couldn't go out. And I just felt trapped, literally trapped. And it was the scariest feeling I've ever had. Literally feeling like my whole life was just over, and feeling so depressed. I felt disgusting. Like, I felt like my body was disgusting because she grew so much at the end of my pregnancy that my skin just completely was ruined. So I remember coming home and just seeing like the surgical scar and just seeing like my belly all saggy and stretch marks, and I felt disgusting. I didn't even want to look in the mirror. I wore like bathrobes and like oversized sweaters so that like even my family wouldn't see what I looked like, because I was just so embarrassed with how I looked, and I was so upset. Just everything. It's okay. It was a really overwhelming time. Really overwhelming. I just felt alone. I felt really trapped. And if you're depressed in general or going through postpartum, I really recommend getting out and getting air. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, go out for a walk. If you can leave the baby with someone. If not, sit by a window, open a window, get some fresh air. Just go stand outside your front door. It's okay, baby. Go get fresh air. It really helps to clear your mind. Force yourself to go for a walk. Once the baby is big enough, once you feel comfortable enough, go out for a date night, go out for a dinner, go out to a movie. It doesn't matter if you're alone or if you're with someone else. You don't need to be with someone to be happy. So making sure that you're hydrating, that you're eating, that you're still taking care of you. Even though you have to take care of this baby now and they are so dependent on you, make sure that you're taking care of you, because if you're not okay, they're not going to be okay. That's something that my friends always say to me, and it really is true, that you have to be okay first, and you have to make sure that you're good regardless of whatever is going on. You need to take care of yourself, and you need to get help for yourself. And don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to talk about it. Don't be ashamed to post about it. Don't be ashamed to call someone up. Don't be ashamed to go to a therapist or a psychiatrist. Don't be ashamed, because you're not helping anybody by not getting help. You want to be the hero. You want to do it on your own. I get it. I'm the same way. That's exactly what I did. But you're just going to wind up suffering more. So really get help if you need it, and if you're willing, you should really just try to open your mind and be okay with that. But it's totally normal to feel those things, and don't feel like you're a bad person or you're a bad parent just because you feel these emotions, because they may feel wrong and they may feel like even dirty. Like, I know for me, I didn't want to talk to anybody about it because I didn't want them to judge me and be like, oh, like, you don't love your baby, you're such a bad parent. Which is a very real reality that a lot of people might, hear me saying these things and being like, oh my God, she's a monster. Well, sue me. It's totally normal. Don't feel bad. And don't beat yourself up for it. It's totally normal. And, it will pass. Whatever you find to help you, whatever helps you, please do it, as long as it's not substance abuse, because that's not a healthy medium to solving your issues and dealing with your emotions, as tempting as it may be. But don't do that. But you need to find a way to cope, and you need to find a way to let yourself know that it'll be okay. Maybe not now, maybe not tomorrow, but it will be okay, and it will pass. If anybody ever needs to speak about it, to hear about my experience, how I got over it, just to know that someone else has felt these same emotions, like, please do not hesitate to message me or call me if you have my number, if you want my number. Just ask. Like, I'm literally no judgment. I've been through a lot of things. I've done a lot of crazy things, and I've felt a lot of crazy things. So there's nothing that you can say that will scare me or that will make me judge you, because trust me, I've been there. So yeah, if anybody ever needs an outlet, I'm definitely here for that. Even if I don't know you, I don't mind. So definitely feel free to message me whenever you need it. Even if you're not pregnant and you just feel like you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Like I said, I've been through my share of things, and I understand. So definitely you have a friend in me, and hopefully that's comforting if anybody needs it.
Yeah. Whoa, hold on. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it.